Hello, it's Paul from the UK. I'm here for my weekly chat and my update for my Onpassive founders and obviously other people in Onpassive that are interested in my weekly updates. I'm still got a little bit of a cold and a cough, and which is annoying, so I've just finished and hopefully I can get through this okay. So I'm not in my usual location this week. I'm not in the garden, in the woods, or down the lanes. I'm actually at my friend's farm, Bob. He's about 8 miles from me. He's got a farm, a business called Ranger Pigs, which is a rare breed pig business. And he mainly breeds Tamworths, so anyone in that sort of in a farming community will know what they are. Bob's been doing it for several years. And he does things to sort of supplement his income as well. If you look at this little American style box here, it's got full of eggs on trust. So people can come past on the main road, on the main road here, and they see eggs for sale and everything on the front. They can buy some eggs, leave the money in the box, and it helps out. But what it's also done for Bob is those customers have become regular customers. You know, they come back and buy the eggs and say, well, what's this range of pigs about? What is the pig business about? You know, you've been here a few years, we've seen this, but we don't really understand what it is you do. Bob's got about 6 acres here. And it gave me something that happened last week. I came on last Friday to see Bob. Today's Tuesday. And as I come up the driveway here, there was an ambulance outside his house. And he was inside. He'd had a fall, and quite a bad one. He's got quite a bad knee. He's waiting to get the funds together to have a private operation on it. He's had one operation on the National Health, didn't go very well. He wants a private operation to see if he can get that done, because there's things he wants to do in life. You know, he's actually nearly 73 now, and he'd like to retire. Most people love to retire, you know, at 65, but it hasn't really happened. So now that Bob's in Onpassive, Bob was one of my first 3 that joined me when I joined in December of 2019. So that was probably when there was about 65,000 founders on board, and there's now touching, I think it's 240, maybe just over 240,000 founder members now in Onpassive. So when it launches, it's going to be quite good for us, and especially the other people who've been in 2 years. But that fall gave Bob a scare, and it gave me a bit of a scare, and I said, you know, it's time really now that you started looking at something else. It's a lot to carry on here. You have a quick look over that way, you might be able to see some little pigs in the distance there. They've just been fed, so they're quite, they're pretty quiet at the moment. They go that this way. I'll carry on as I'm going in. But I've been sort of trying to say to Bob, you know, you've had this a few years now, and what he did on site here, he wanted to live off grid, wanted to get out of the rat race, as it were. Life was getting very expensive, and when you're on a pension, and he was doing the pigs part-time, it still wasn't enough. But what he did, he bought 2 40-foot shipping containers and put them together and cut the middle out, and he's been doing most of the work himself. He's had the odd person here, welder and things, and to try and build his own nice sort of bespoke mobile home. And he's obviously got wind turbines here and solar panels and all that sort of thing. And he just wants to live a nice, ordinary, simple life. But the reality of that is about 4 years ago, we ran out of money, as many people in business do, and the rest of the house builds come to a complete standstill. It's just not finished. And living like that every day when it's not finished is you know, it's a little bit demoralising for him, and he wants better. And he's tried to build the pig business up and get that going a bit better now. Let me just sort this gate out so it's not stop the pigs. It's all right. That's it. There you go. And he wants to get that finished. So obviously, like all of us, he's been in other programs, other ventures, and put some money into it. Hasn't really paid off until we found Onpassive, and now it's looking like you know, that's everything for Bob is, and the rest of us is going to change. If you look in just up here on the background there, you can see that's the sort of thing. It's sort of half built, and everything's around it, and trailers and things like that. What he wants to do, he wants to landscape all this. He supplies logs for people as well. He wants to get all this landscape. He's got great plans, you know, but it's like everything in life and in business. You can have great plans, but if you haven't got the money to back it up and to help that, nothing much is going to happen. So after that fall on Friday, I just thought that he was going to go to hospital and just have a checkup and be home that night. But today's Tuesday, and I picked him up from hospital last night, Monday night, so he's had a few days in there, which means he's had a few days revenue loss. He hasn't sold any eggs. He also has an egg delivery business. So all the customers and the pubs that normally get deliveries from him couldn't get it. They were notified what happened, but that happens to a lot of people in business. If something happens to you, your business stops, you know, and a lot of the time, the business that you have, like Bob's business here, it runs you. You don't run it. You know, you have to keep going because you need that extra money coming in, and things happen in you know, different times, different seasons. So he's missed out quite a bit there, obviously, and he normally does deliveries and things on a weekend. So that's messed it up. And a couple of people came to help, and his son lives locally. He came to help. Pete's very outdoorsy. So I've suggested, you know, we're going to launch quite soon, and there's things you want to do. And I know Bob's passion is trains, especially steam trains. He loves steam trains, so he has always had the ambition to go on the Flying Scotsman, and he'll be able to do that now. And he said, I'm going to get first class ticket when I do get that and go up to Scotland, and then go from Scotland to somewhere else. So he's planned this all out. So he is starting to think about what's going to happen when Onpassive happens, because the beauty of that compared to an ordinary type business like this, you know, somebody could have a driving school, but unless you're in that car, you're not going to earn any money. And with the COVID thing continuing as it is, people aren't having driver lessons, you know, and you might have a store, a shop, but that's also, it's not as busy as they were. And there's times you might think, well, I don't want to open the shop this week. I just want to have the week off. You can't. You've got to open it because that's your living. So therefore, the business runs you, you don't run it. But alternatively, if you're in Onpassive, you can be doing all kinds of things. You can be on the Flying Scotsman train up to Scotland, and while you're there, there's money earning for you around the world because it's totally global. I had a lovely surprise last night. Some people have been sending me some smashing messages this week from the update that I did last week. I covered about getting back to normal, having normal work, which is awful, long days, and the new normal, which is Onpassive. But I also covered about Facebook and not hiding and letting people know what you do and putting it on your main wall, your main advert. And I got a lovely message last night from a lady called Yvonne, and she's in Perth in Australia, and she said, I've just watched your video, I thought it was absolutely great, and I'm going to do what you suggest. I'm going to put adverts. I'm not quite sure what advert yet, I don't know what to put on there, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to let people know what it is I do. And so I said, look, I'm going to put a handful of adverts together, and I'll send them to you, and anyone else that wants them can just get in touch with me, and I'll do that. And I also said, you know, I'm on the Leadership Council with Onpassive, and my job and my role is to help as many people as I possibly can. Do you have anybody in England that I could perhaps work on your behalf to help you in Australia? And she said, I've got my mum, but she doesn't really understand it. So that's okay. I can help you, mum, and help you understand it. And then just as I arrived here to see Bob 10-15 minutes ago, he said, there's a woman that wants to join my business. I said, that's great. Where did she come from? He said, she's just passed. We were talking. I said, oh, did she have a bright pink jacket on? He said, yeah. I said, oh, I passed her on the lane. And I said, how did that start? How did you get her interested in Onpassive? He said, we just started talking, and he said the subject of money come up and people not being able to do things. And he said, I told him about my son, and he wants to do various things with his vegan business, but it's a lack of money. And she said, well, my daughter's the same in London. She's got an arts business, not doing so well. And then so Bob explained a little bit about Onpassive and how it works, and she said, I want to do this. So we're going to meet up. And that's just somebody that passed, that's seen Bob's farm, that's seen the eggs, probably bought some, and just struck up conversation. So it's not difficult to get people into or interested in Onpassive. But I was really chuffed to get that message from Yvonne in Australia last night to say, thanks for doing your video, and it's made me think and do that. So great. So today's topic really is ordinary business like Bob's, like this farm, versus Onpassive. Because you may have a business, and does the business run you, or are you running it? You know, and if you wanted to have a few days off, or you were ill or something, and you had an accident like Bob, could you take a few days off? Probably not. If you did, you're going to lose income, aren't you? Because what most businesses don't offer is a residual income, a walkaway income. Now, Onpassive is going to offer that, so you can literally be in a different part of the country. You can be on a train, you can be asleep, you can be doing something, visiting friends and family. And all the while, your business is working somewhere around the world, because we're in 212 countries. And I don't think people have really sat down and thought about it until Bob and I did the other day. We sort of said, you know, well, let's talk about you retiring, Bob. You know, you're 73 in November. What is it you want to do? And trains. And I knew the trains was going to be it, so that got it. And he said, yeah, first class. And I think he's seriously thinking now, well, next year is going to be different. Because he wants to live, he wants to enjoy his retirement, get this knee operation out the way, pay for it, and then start travelling and having some fun. And I'm pretty sure that if he gave Pete the pig farm here to run, he'd be happy, as they say, as a pig in muck. Because Pete's very outdoors, he's big and strong, and this would suit him. It's a young man's business. It's hard work, all this. You know, you're moving water around. He runs off generators. There's no electricity here. There's some main services, but it's not ideal. But that's the life that he wanted. He wanted something off grid. He wanted something a little bit different, and to get out of the rat race. And now he's thinking, well, wouldn't it be nice to spend the next 2 or 3, 4 years travelling, seeing the things that I didn't see and didn't see when I was younger because I was too busy. So that's really my thing for this week. You know, you probably know someone like Bob. You may be someone like Bob that has a business that's costing you no end to keep it running. I mean, the amount of money that Bob, because these are obviously, everything's free range. The food that Bob buys for the pigs and the chickens, it isn't cheap. You know, they don't live on scraps. They don't live on, you know, leftovers that come out of a restaurant. They're actually bought in from suppliers, and it can be quite expensive to get all this done. So it was just to sort of have a little think about that, you know, and just have a think about who do you know that's got a small business, small holding, a shop, a driving school, something like that. Do you really think that they would like to be doing that for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years with the way things are going on in the world at the moment? Or do you think they'd like to look at something like Onpassive, which is so simple and it's going to take the world by storm? Where everything is automated. That's the difference. Your business you've got from home, or this pig business, or a driver school, or whatever, it isn't automated. It's not done for you, as Onpassive's completely done for you. And I would finish with that, what I said last week, really. If you don't speak to people about this, who's going to tell them? You know, because nothing's getting easier. I spoke to somebody today. I delivered somewhere today in Leicester, and I just heard that the manager at that branch had just been let go last week. He's gone. He's been on furlough for a while, and I don't know how long he's been with the company, but quite a while, I think. But they offered him a position which was a lower position, a lower paid position than the manager's job he had, and obviously he didn't want to take that, so he's left. And there's going to be a lot of people like that in managerial positions, and the reality is, where are they going to go for the next 30, 40, 50, 60,000 plus a year? There aren't many places to go at the moment, unless you're in Onpassive, of course, because we've got, I'm not going to explain it here, but you'll have to come in and take a good look. We have just had a revamp. Our fabulous founder and CEO, Ash Mufara, has revamped our income structure. It was already really good, and there was no doubt we would make a lot of people six-figure incomes, thousands of six-figure incomes. It's gone from six-figure incomes into the millions, you know. So there's nothing like this on the market at all, and because it's so big and what it does and how it does it, it's going to be a real eye-opener. And the good thing is, it's automated. You don't have to sell anything. You actually don't have to bring anybody in unless you want to. I like to bring people in. I think it's good to help people. We always feel good if we help someone. Well, can you imagine if you could help them with their finances? Because there's nothing more stressful for people that realise that there's too much month at the end of the money, and no matter what they do and how much they try and budget their credit cards, it isn't getting any better, and nothing's changing. So if you could actually show them something that can bring in extra income, not just monthly, weekly, but daily, and perhaps several times a day, because we're going to get paid in what they call real time. So even if various people in Australia and around the world purchase products and services and they're in your business, you're going to get paid for that while you're asleep. So it's just absolutely fabulous. So anyway, I'm going to get going because I'm going to have a nice cup of tea now with my friend Bob, and then I'm going to get home and get ready and get showered because we have a Zoom webinar tonight, a public one. I want to get ready for that, and there's a couple of people coming on that. Plus my niece is joining the business tonight, so I want to get her founder position sorted out. So it's lovely that I've got my nephew in the business a little while ago, and his wife joined a week or two ago. which was great. And now my niece is joining, you know, so which is just brilliant. Now, people say, well, they've probably got marketing experience. Well, no, Mike's actually drives, he's in a gold bullion lorry all day, so he's driving around the country with gold in the back, which is nice, but the vehicle is very, very hot. And his wife, Jenny, I believe, is to do with childcare. She does that. And Jane's got a very prestigious job. It's very well paid, but it's also very demanding. So the idea of something in the background, like Onpassive, earning a passive income, in case something happens, who knows, you know, for the future. But also, it's nice to have something that you can also leave. She's got family, we can will this on, and it's something that you can leave on. So I'm going to leave it from there to now. That's it. That's me done for this week, and I'll see you again in the next few days probably. But this weekend, unfortunately, the clocks go back, so I was rushing to Bob's to get this done in the daylight, because as of Saturday at this time of day, it will be dark. You know, and as I said in last week's video, people hate going to work in the dark. They hate coming home in the dark. They hate working weekends. So we've all got Onpassive to look forward to. How good is that going to be? Okay, anyway, speak to you again soon. Thank you very much for your time. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.